Pastor Roy Gerhart from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. There are a lot of people who have a hard time getting up and heading out to work, feeling motivated and excited about what they're doing. Lots of people, in fact, go to work feeling incredibly unmotivated. They'll only do their job when the boss is looking or when they think that it will do them some good by making them look better. If the boss isn't around or they think they can get away with it, they'll be lazy, they'll turn in substandard work, they'll just try to not do their job at all. There's a sad thing about living your life unmotivated and trying to really avoid what you're doing all the time. The people of God, though, they seem to operate that way in the book of Judges as we're encountering this cycle that occurs with them where God would raise up judges, hence the title of the book, Judges. These judges, though, were not just there to settle their court cases and disputes. They were there to help the people to be accountable to God. They would lead them into a faithful walk with God. And as long as those judges were around, the people would stay on course. They would be faithful to the Lord. But as soon as that judge was gone from the scene, had died, they would fall away from God. They would start pulling back and following after other gods, and they would have this whole cycle again of problems that would make them cry out to God, and God would raise up another judge to lead them back into that relationship with Him and to guide them, keeping them accountable in that process. There's got to be a better way than that, though. There's got to be some way that we can find a motivation in our life to live and work and serve God without somebody standing over us or threatening to do us harm if we don't do our job. In fact, as Jesus said in Luke chapter 17, that we need to live our lives working as servants of God. In fact, Jesus said plainly that we need an attitude that says, I am an unworthy servant. I am just glad to be working for you. Now that sounds harsh. That sounds, in fact, like something that is like going to work on Monday morning. And why am I doing this other than a paycheck and because I have to? Jesus, though, is talking about something much more, much better than that. And yesterday, we connected that with the story of the prodigal son, where Jesus told a story to describe our lives and how we find that kind of motivation. He said the prodigal son was like had said to his father, give me my share of your fortune. I'm done with you. And off he went. He took his father's fortune. He squandered it in wild living. And then when he was broke, he fell on hard times. And this turned into a huge wake-up call for him, just like the people of God in the book of Judges who go through these cycles of falling away, falling on hard times, crying out to God. And this man in the story, Jesus said, has a wake-up call. He says, I need to go home. This kid who wanted nothing more than to get away from his father now wants to go home. And he doesn't go home, though, just to say, hey, Dad, I need some more money. No, he goes home with an entirely different attitude. He went home saying, I am not worthy to be called your son. I have no entitlement here. He said, please just let me work here as your servant. Because he had come to realize that if he could just come home as an unworthy servant, that he would be way better off in his life than he was making it on his own. That's the kind of change of attitude that looks with admiration and love on the Father. A Father that Jesus described as one who loved him and was waiting for him and ran down the road when this filthy, bedraggled son came home, ran down the road to embrace him and welcome him home. When I was growing up, I worked for my dad. My dad was a contractor, and I grew up from my earliest years working for my dad. And I didn't do that just because my dad said, you have to, and if you don't, you're going to get in trouble. And it wasn't just to get a paycheck. No, I got to tell you that growing up as a kid, my greatest ambition as a little boy was that I was going to grow up and take over the family business and be a carpenter just like my dad. I loved and admired him so much that I just wanted to work with him to be like him. You see, that's the kind of drive that Jesus is talking about. It's the kind of thing that keeps us out of that misery of only doing it if we have to, and instead releases us to live in an admiration and a love that says, I just want to work with you because I want to be like you. May God bless you today. And as you share this good news, may God make you a blessing wherever He takes you.